Hello once again and welcome back to another episode of Father and Sundays, the unexplainable guide to absolutely nothing. This week is episode 124, that's 124.
124?
Yes, and we're speaking about human evolution today.
We certainly are.
So stick around if you want to hear more. Well, hello again there, Dad.
Well,
Or
hello
David.
there. Yes, hello, Connor. How are you doing?
Yep.
Or son?
Yep.
Are you well?
I'm well, thank you.
Do you feel energised and ready for this podcast?
Yep, should take a vitamin.
You just took a vitamin. I saw
Yep.
you take it. It looks like when, if you get a pack of fruit pastels
Yep.
and then they all get stuck together.
It's as if you slice all the fruit pastels into very thin bits and then stick them all together.
Stick them all together like a sort of licorice all sort of
Should we
mash
try that?
up.
'Cause that sounds like it could be interesting.
Well, we'll do that for the next one, yeah. Yeah, so that's what it looked like. It looks like, that's why I asked you earlier, is it quite easy to take?
Yeah.
Or is it, because it's huge.
You don't have to swallow it.
What do you do with it?
Well, you don't have to swallow it whole, you just chew it.
Because I didn't see what you did with it.
I chewed it.
Are you sitting on it?
No, I chewed it.
You chewed it. Are
Yeah.
I ask again, are you sitting on it?
I chewed it.
All right, okay. All right, and you feel great, yeah?
No? Do you feel the same?
You feel the same?
Yep.
That's an expensive fruit pastel
Yep.
thing, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Can only have one of them a day as well.
Only have one of them a day. Well, why would you want to have two of them a day if they're really expensive and they don't do anything?
Yeah, but my point being is that normally fruit pastel you have more than one, don't you?
Well, just get yourself some fruit pastels. Oh, I'm glad I could help. Anyway,
I can't remember the last time I had a fruit pastel.
no, nor can I. I went in the garage and got some petrol today and I bought some
Oh, you bought me a
sweeties.
12, didn't you?
I did. And
I enjoyed that, thank you.
oh, you already had it, have you?
Yep.
Right, okay. And
Okay.
I didn't get any fruit pastels, but I did see them.
Oh.
And there we are.
Thanks for that story.
Well, look, yeah, no, it's great. A little insight into my day. It was a lot worse than that. It was definitely the highlight of my day, finishing work and coming home.
But did you
believe
get the
me.
petrol?
I did get the petrol. As well.
Unleaded?
I did get unleaded. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's an E10.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the second time I filled up today. So I had to fill the
Why'd you-
van up.
Oh, right, okay. I was going to say, your car's really...
£75 worth of diesel earlier on. So there you go.
Yeah, but that wasn't your card, so...
No, it wasn't.
Why'd you say like
This
that?
is the second one
okay?
since we come back. I don't know really. We'll see how this goes. But this is the second one since we've come back. And do you
Yeah.
feel a little bit more like less rusty? Because last week I think
Yeah, it felt quite rusty. I mean, there was a big outcry after that first one.
there was.
There
Well,
wasn't, hasn't released yet.
Oh no, it hasn't, has it?
No.
It goes out tomorrow, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We're
Well, there
back,
will
to,
be
we're
an
back to
outcry.
how we used to do it, where we try and record a week in advance.
Well, which is a sensible way of doing it, really,
Yeah, it
to
is, yeah.
be fair. But it does get confusing when I think people may have already listened to stuff that they haven't listened to.
There's only have one listener, and it's you.
So there's no point in me reviewing the review of 2023 because that'll be spoilers, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
No, it wouldn't be
Would it?
spoilers, because this releases the week after.
Oh no, it would be. Wouldn't it?
So it's
See,
not spoilers.
this is where it confuses me. This is where I just can't get my head around it. Okay, I did a review of the review of 2023, which we did in May.
2024.
Yeah, which will be released tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, it was
which
released-
is the 2nd of June.
It was reviewed in May. It was reviewed in May, and we're recording on the 1st of June.
Yes,
Right.
It's all very confusing. There was some dodgy information. I clearly don't remember 2023.
Oh, twee.
I clearly don't.
Do you remember 2003?
I don't remember that either. 2023 as well as I thought I did. One of the things that were questioned at the time was I said Boris Johnson resigned, and I sort of was thinking around him resigning as Prime Minister. He did resign as being an MP in 2023. But I kind of
So we
got
did
all
call
my-
that out at the time, didn't we?
we
though?
did call that out at the time. The other thing, though, is you suggested that The Weakest Link came back in 2023. And after a little bit of digging, I found out that The Weakest Link came back in December 2021. And it's
right.
currently on... This is just mad. This is how years go past without you even knowing it. I thought that was relatively new that it'd come back, but they're on about a third or fourth season of it. But other than that, I think it
thought
was
you'd
flawless.
paused then for a moment. I
No,
didn't know what happened.
I did pause for a second.
Like, I thought you'd broken.
No.
Nope.
Other than that, it was absolutely flawless, and I thought it was a good example of how to do a review of a year.
Yep. Well, when we say review of the year, we didn't review it, we didn't give it stars, we just had a look back at it.
Well, perhaps we should. What would you say out of what do you like to do?
Can you hear that?
Yeah, what is
the
that?
whistling? It sounds like, say, crashing.
It sounds like a plane. Yeah.
But you know when they go the...
Yeah, like they bomb something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Classic cartoon.
Yes. Okay, so if you were to rate 2023, let's get this over and done with now.
What? 7?
Well, no, you out of 7 because you like to do something a little bit odd.
7. I can't remember it now.
Well, we'll listen back to it.
Yeah. Was it maybe a 5 out of 7?
About the year. I'm not talking about the podcast. I'm talking about the year.
Yeah, 5 out of 7.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right. Yeah, I'll probably go along with that as well. Excellent. Right, so we draw a line.
Oh, no, there was some aspects of it that was like 7 out of 7. So.
Oh, there were some that were...
Like 1 year ago today.
Was it 1 year ago today that happened? That magical...
The wedding.
That's
how recording is 1 year ago today.
That's it. Yeah, of course it is. And I'd just like to say, actually, take the opportunity to say, even though it'll be a week from actually happening, that happy anniversary to Becky and Sam for last week.
Their names for a second?
I forgot their names as well. And we didn't mention last week, but there's going to be another addition to our family, isn't there? Because Becky and Sam are expecting a little girl.
Yeah, Sam's pregnant.
But he looks great, doesn't he? He's sort of blossoming. He's glowing.
Yeah, he's got a certain glow around his belly.
And we sit around, don't we, with our hands on his stomach.
On his belly, yeah.
It move.
Give it rub.
But no, that's wonderful news, and we're really excited. And the baby's due in September, so we're looking forward to that. We also had a visit from
Santa Claus.
No.
Oh.
No, close. Annie and David, your nephew. So
Annie's not my nephew.
No. Annie, your sister.
Right.
But David, your nephew.
Hasn't got knees yet.
Which was fun. No,
Kneecaps.
I actually look. They don't actually come in till about 3 years.
I heard 2 years.
I read 3 years because I looked it up the other day. Yeah, but bearing in mind what I looked up for 2023, perhaps we should go with what your thinking is around it. But yeah. It evolves. 3 years. He evolves kneecaps. I think that's the way of saying it.
Are you trying to link it?
I'm trying to link it into the next bit now. So it's been a busy week. It's been good fun though, but a busy week.
Would have worked better if you directly linked it in.
Yes, it would, because now I've gone back again.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about today, Connor?
David's kneecaps.
No, apart
evolving
into
a human
evolution. So
human evolution.
Yeah. Oh, are we going to have a row about how you say it?
Well, you say
evolution.
You say evolution a lot. I say evolution.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. We'll just carry on like that. So
basically, if people argue about how it's said, if you listen to this podcast, you get both. So you can just enjoy that.
For the price of one. So we thought we'd have a chat about human evolution, about where we evolved from.
Evolved. See, you said evolved that time. Yeah. You didn't say evolved, did you?
Evolved.
You said evolved.
All right.
Why'd you go evolution, and then evolve?
Evolved.
Why not
evolution?
Evolution and
it doesn't
evolve.
matter. It means the same thing. Stop having a go at me.
No, just I'm a bit baffled.
Yeah. All right, that's a good word. So do you know where the theory originated from?
Darwin.
So Charles
Darwin's theory of evolution, not Charles Dickens.
Charles Darwin. Charles Dickens' theory of evolution was very, very different. Lots of trains in it, and convicts and little orphan boys. Charles Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace. I think that's.
Did he make Wallace and Gromit?
Yes.
Yeah.
He needs to have a mention because everybody thinks of the origin of species and thinks about Charles Darwin, but Alfred Russel Wallace, at the same time, while talking, like corresponding between the two of them, went backwards and forwards where they were in the world, very much came up with the same idea, but it was just that Charles Darwin's one got published first, and is obviously seen as the definitive.
Yeah.
But basically, from what I gather, I mean, he travelled the world, and that's when he started noticing these things, noting about species. He was actually just cataloguing animals and fauna and flora and all sorts.
Like the August catalogue.
And he did a 5-year voyage, a bit like Star Trek,
Yep.
on HMS Beagle from 1831 to 1836. It really established him doing that as a geologist, really, as opposed to being anything else. That was what he was looking at the time. He collected specimens of
Like
the
what?
animals. Well, famously, he discovered...
How famous is this?
Very famous. This is
right.
one of the most famous things that's ever happened. He collected and had a bit of a Noah's Ark, but one of each. He had a giant tortoise that he discovered, decided to bring it back with him because there was a big... You've got to think about the times here. There was a big sort of want to see these exotic specimens bring about alive or dead. Apparently, actually... ate the giant tortoise on the way back. Yeah. So, and I think that happened quite a lot, and it was something that carried on through the years. Actually, there used to be these sort of clubs of, and it would have been men who would eat these particular animals, and it would be
It's
more
always the
exotic.
men eating
We're
the
horrible,
animals,
aren't we? He published several books and journals, but published The Origin of Species, or The Origin of Species by Means and Natural Selection, or the Preservation of Favoured Races in the Struggle for Life. I think they looked at that and thought it was probably a bit more punchy if they just called it The Origin of Species.
Yep.
Because they wouldn't fit it on the front of the book for a start. But he pushed it back, and he sort of it was published in different places. But a lot of people,
a lot
of people were unhappy with it and were sort of skeptical about it and laughed at him, and although, there were certain people that looked at his work and thought, yes, there was credence behind it and there was a lot of thought behind it, and yes, they could imagine it, because really the world as a whole looked at creation being from God or a
creationism,
God, yeah, as opposed to it being evolution, then it was pretty much seen as blasphemy by some.
Well, this is the thing. I think for a long time, and still nowadays, people don't believe in it. It's still referred to as the theory of evolution. I've even spoken to people about the fact that they don't believe evolution was real. And they believe that things have changed and animals change, but they don't evolve, they just adapt. And I was thinking, well, but that surely is evolution.
Yeah, that is,
because they adapt. And there's a couple of different things that lead to evolution. I know this is human evolution we're meant to be talking about. There's a couple of different things that lead to evolution. It can be just things, natural selection, where things just like evolve because maybe a giraffe with a longer neck could reach the better leaves at the top of a tree.
Which is exactly
so
the point,
that's why the ones with the longer necks bred.
Yeah.
And they survived, so they bred.
Yeah.
But then there's also been evolution to the fact of, and I think we spoke about it before, where there's been certain elephants in the wild that have been born without tusks, and that's more of human interference causing evolution in a sense.
So would they have been born without tusks because...
Not because... So there'd be like an elephant that was born without tusks, and because of that, it's not been poached for its ivory, and that means that they're more likely to survive, which means they then breed, and they've got that genetic mutation
that they haven't got tusks. All right, well, yeah. No, that makes perfect sense anyway. And there was also, what I always found, and you've got to think about, even in my lifetime, the understanding by the general public of evolution. When I was a lad, like that many years ago, 55, 56 years ago.
What? That's...
When I was a lad.
When I was a lad.
People used to say we evolved from apes or from chimpanzees.
See, this
right?
is a thing, and that's
And obviously, and that would have been sort of pretty much said, to everybody. Now, obviously, people more learned than myself would have known that's not the truth, but we weren't. And we'll come on to this when we start talking about it.
That's still a misconception.
It is still a misconception that and that's what sometimes is thrown back at people that believe in evolution is, well, how comes there's still chimpanzees now if we evolved from chimpanzees? Because we didn't evolve from chimpanzees.
No, yeah.
That's the basic answer to it. But there's a lot of people who still get confused about it.
Every day, in every way, the things people do, the things people say, just irritate me, please sedate me. These are the things that really get my goat.
People who address me by my shortened first name, like we've been best friends forever, even though I've never ever met them before, have some respect.
Cheers, Dave.
What? Don't you call me Dave? That's really rude.
I just thought you liked being by your shortened name, didn't you?
I don't have a problem being called by my shortened name. It's just that when people don't even know my name, but they've read it on because when I deliver stuff, it tells them my name's there, and random people come out and say, "Thanks, Dave," and you think, "What? You don't even know what my name is," and it's quite upsetting. Right.
Fair enough. So just to go back on what we were talking about, we've kind of determined that it's very clear that humans didn't evolve from apes.
No.
But we had a common ancestor, I think is the better way of putting it. So
Well,
modern apes, we didn't evolve from modern apes.
I
We
guess-
weren't like orangutan's brother.
No.
But we some of us weren't anyway.
no.
But then we evolved from the same. We all evolved
I
from the same
think-
thing.
I think the confusion is that chimpanzees and bonobos, which are a similar sort of species, they're our closest relative, and there's similarities between us. I think we share 98.8% of our DNA with them. Gorillas 98%, and orangutans 97%. So
And
we
we
are
share a lot of
close to-
DNA with banana.
Do we?
Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah.
How?
We just share a lot of the same DNA as a banana.
We share a lot of DNA as a banana.
DNA with a banana.
C-
yeah.
Can you back that up with facts?
Yeah, while you're talking, I'll Google it.
All right. Oh, it's just ridiculous. Right. Anyway, obviously, it's difficult to where to start with this. But for instance, there was a genus of extinct great apes called the Dryopithecus from the middle to late Miocene boundary of Europe, 12.5 to 11.1 million years ago, right? Now, they are supposed to be within this evolutionary stage. They ate ripe fruit from trees, suggesting a degree of subsensory behaviour to reach them, so an understanding, and probably walked on all fours, though. So we're still talking about what people would see as still a very primitive version of us. Then you got the...
Sorry, where do bananas fit into this then?
Gone.
I'm just asking, is it the next evolution of banana?
No, I'm waiting for you to...
50%.
How can we share 50%
50%
DNA
of our
with a
genes
banana?
with banana.
That's nonsense. You're talking nonsense.
Nope.
How on earth do we
We've got the same colour eyes and stuff.
colour eyes? They haven't got eyes. They haven't got a face. They're like sharks.
Sharks have faces.
Next up is the Ramapithecus.
Ramapithecus.
Yeah, all right.
Because it's a Gigantopithecus, isn't it? So Ramapithecus. would make
Another
sense.
genus of extinct apes about 12.2 million years ago in the Miocene. Again, they walked on all fours, so again, primitive. Now we start getting to ones that perhaps people can relate to more. So the Homo habilis.
You're a
which
homo.
Straight away with the word homo on makes it funny.
Yep.
It's an extinct species of archaic human from the early Pleistocene.
Yep.
Eastern South Africa, about 2.31 million years ago. But they used tools. So
What kind of tools?
So
Like
Black and Decker
Yeah.
sort of stuff that they could charge up overnight.
Roby.
They were 3 to 4 foot in height. And
That's not very tall, is it?
no, but they
Like a
walked.
hobbit.
Well, yeah, quite. But they walked fairly upright. So it's the
How
transition.
many meals a day
then.
did they eat?
Bananas.
How many meals a day?
How many meals a day? I don't know how
Did
many
they
meals
have second
a day.
breakfast? Did they have hairy feet?
Do they have hairy feet? No, as far as yes, they probably did have hairy feet, hairy legs, hairy body, and a face.
Unlike
Then we get
bananas.
to the most hilarious of all the stages, the Homo erectus.
Yep, knew that was coming.
Again, an extinct species of archaic human.
But they're called erectus.
From the Pleistocene era.
Homo erectus because of what, though? Why are they called Homo erectus?
Because they walk upright.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they were gay.
And they were gay, were they?
Yep.
With earliest occurrence
they
about
weren't.
2 million years ago. They had the same limb configurations as humans today, so they stood upright. So I guess they weren't as tall, but where you think about some of our ancestors had longer limbs because they walked on all fours, like longer upper limbs, this was more in sort of
Yeah, I guess
comparison to
you've
what
got
we are today.
apes nowadays still have longer upper limbs, tend to, don't they?
Yeah.
But then less so of the chimpanzee to a certain degree.
No, quite. Absolutely.
Although chimpanzee would have branched off already. So
Yeah, so this is where, like we said before about the confusion, chimpanzees and bonobos and orangutans and gorillas,
They
or
would
the
have-
great apes, would have branched off from this earlier on.
very early. Yeah.
So when we talked about the first couple there, that's where they would have branched off towards those. So it has no relation to us. The fact we've got that amount of DNA, that we're that similar to them, is because we come from the same source, say.
Isn't it interesting how hamsters would have gone off a lot earlier and at a different point and potentially would never have actually met up, but they've got fingers too.
Sorry?
Hamsters have fingers.
I know they've got fingers, yeah. So from a mammal point of view, they would have...
Well, they would have branched off when rodents branched off.
Yeah, they would have, yeah.
So at what point did rodents branch off? Would they have branched off before or after elephants?
I really don't know. And that's for a different podcast. Because it's bad enough trying to get through this sort of stuff, let alone trying
And
to think about
capybaras kind
hamsters.
of don't have fingers, do they? And they're rodents.
Don't capybaras have fingers?
I guess they have little fingers, don't they?
Yeah, so you're lying again, aren't you?
Little-
About
little
it's just
nubby
got
fingers.
Flipping bananas. They've got fingers like bananas.
No, they don't share as many genes with banana as we
No.
do.
Next,
When did a banana branch off?
I don't know. Banana branches? I don't know. Bunches of bananas. Homo sapiens or Neanderthalensis, which is what I've got down here. Again, extinct, archaic human who lived in Eurasia until 40,000 years ago. Created fire, so understood about the warmth and about, I imagine, sort of cooking things. Cooked, roast, boiled and smoking of animals to eat. Had stone tools.
Mm-hmm.
Made use of medicinal plants.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot more sophistication.
Paracetamol.
Yeah, a lot more sophistication in what they're doing. Weaved clothes. So there wasn't a winkles out there at that point.
No,
They'd
no.
started to cover up.
No
Like
winkles and nips.
winkles and nips were being covered up. So
To be fair, nips probably weren't at that point.
at that
essentially.
point as
Maybe.
well, there was sort of, I mean, always within, well, even as far back as the first ones we talked about, there would have been hierarchy. There would have been a pecking order within it. But
Yeah, well, there is
these started
amongst most species of animals.
There are,
Every-
but this started to become more sort of social family groups and such. And And, you know, even when we look at it, and it was basic, like they created fire, were able to use fire and the stone tools and such, but that's a huge leap on from what we've had previous.
But you try and make fire nowadays without modern technology, you'd struggle a fair bit, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, exactly. So a lot of those, unless you're Bear Grylls, a lot of those...
and he just wheezes and fire comes out.
He does.
And then he drinks it.
He does. I wheeze sometimes and fire comes out. It's not good. I have to drink a lot more water. And then you finally get to Homo sapiens.
You did say Homo sapiens before.
Yeah. Homo sapiens. I
One
just said it
step
again.
before it, though.
Homo sapiens. Neanderthals.
Yeah, so you've already said Homo sapiens once and said they're extinct.
Yeah, but that's the Neanderthal.
But they were two
Homo
different
sapiens.
branches.
No, they weren't. They were one of the same. So at that point,
Neanderthal, Homo sapiens, and
Yeah.
then there's two species of humans, though.
well, this is not what I've got down here. Why are you questioning what I've got down
Well, there
here?
was two species of humans. There was Neanderthals and there was Homo sapiens. And the Homo sapiens are a lot smarter than Neanderthals.
Well, I
Hence
guess
they outlived them.
yes. Okay. So then we move on to Homo sapiens, which is you and me. So the development of
You and I.
the opposable thumbs, the enlargement of the brain, and the
Among others?
loss of hair,
Oh, right.
which makes me more evolved than you.
Sure.
Because you're far. In fact, you're from a hair point of view. I think you're probably stage 2 in this evolution.
I've shared less. So you share more of
In
DNA
fact,
with a banana because you've got less hair.
I think you're Homo erectus.
Thanks.
No, so it's just, you know, we're talking about a long period of time where this has evolved, but you can see the transition each time. You can see
no, I can't.
well, you've heard the
Oh, okay.
transition each time. You can hear what happens and how people develop and how, you know, you're talking about, people, the brains of the Homo sapiens being that much more sophisticated, starting to think on a different sort of level and starting to problem solve, starting to understand, you know, cause and effect and things like this.
I mean, arguably, the Homo sapiens that were around hundreds of years ago, are very different from the Homo sapiens that are around nowadays. Because even then, brains are still getting bigger, people are still getting smarter. We're changing in some ways and getting worse in others.
Absolutely.
We're getting taller.
We are getting taller, yeah.
We're living longer.
We are living longer.
But
But
then
is
how
that-
much is that
No, I
to
don't.
do with...
So some of that. So
but then
getting
it's saying
taller,
human
getting taller.
interference... Sorry, I'm speaking?
okay, speak then.
I'm sorry, but we're saying things at the same time. Human interference, arguably saying human interference has mean that we're living longer, but then at the same time, saying that we are humans, therefore evolutionary, I guess that's still the same thing though, isn't
So
it?
it's it's a bit different when you talked
'Cause
about
we're making
us
medicines and stuff
getting
like that.
taller. Well,
Yeah.
that's evolution.
yeah.
But actually living longer is because we've got a lot more sophisticated in our treatment of.
Why are we getting
particular-
taller though, evolutionary wise? Is that because...
I don't know.
Well,
I
actually,
don't know how that
there is an
makes-
answer to this.
Go on then.
We're getting taller because just things, we're having to put more shelves up.
So things need to be higher.
So the people who are smaller aren't living as long because they can't reach the things on higher shelves. That's not true at all. The reason for it is because, generally speaking, humans find other tall humans
Yeah.
attractive.
Do they?
Yeah. So women will often find taller men attractive because it's seen as a bit more... you
I
know.
find smaller women attractive.
Yeah, well, okay.
Okay.
Mum, specifically.
Specifically, mum. Yeah.
Yeah. My
Um,
girlfriend's a taller woman.
She is, but she's not tall. She's
No,
just
she's smaller than me, but...
taller than the women in your
She's
life.
taller than average.
Taller than the average girlfriend.
She's taller than the average. Yeah, well, she is.
Okay, so where do we go next?
She's a good height.
what are the next stages of
Oh,
evolution?
I thought you were going to say like from here, like as in where am I going now?
No. Where do we go now? So you're saying we're getting taller. We're just going to get taller and taller and taller.
Well, I think this is the thing. I think we can't keep growing taller because then it starts to create other situations. Like there are tall humans around nowadays, but they suffer with other conditions if they're
exactly.
often too tall. So there's only so tall we can get there. I do think though that we are set to evolve in other ways, and I would like to evolve in other ways. So, like for example, breathing's boring, isn't it?
It's a bit cumbersome sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a bit to keep remembering to do it.
Yeah, and we put ourselves at risk in situations where we can't breathe. So wouldn't it be easier if like we could respire in other ways, like just through the skin? Like for example, we go in the water, and all of a sudden we can't breathe anymore. How basic is that? So what if we were able to either have gills and breathe underwater? Although it'd be weird for us to evolve gills because there's already animals with gills.
Yes, so that.
But we'd have to. That would just be by chance, having the same thing twice.
Yeah.
Or maybe we just start absorbing things through the air, like plants do. They just absorb oxygen, don't they, and carbon dioxide.
So how will that make it better? Because we don't have to bother with the thinking about breathing all the time.
No, it just means we'll be in situations where we can still breathe.
Oh.
Even without physically going, like if someone covered our mouth and nose, we'd still be able to breathe.
Okay.
We wouldn't suffocate.
I've got down. I'd like to evolve to the point where, and I'm going to call them intelligent legs, right?
Okay.
I'd like some intelligent legs. I'd like to have legs that I could. The top half of my body
is asleep.
Could go asleep. It's a bit like the bit in
the wrong trousers.
Wrong trousers, yeah.
Yeah.
But so my legs could take me to my destinations and I could sleep on the way there.
And they wouldn't be tired.
And they wouldn't be tired because they're intelligent legs.
Right. Like flamingos, when half of their body goes to sleep and the other half stays awake.
I mean, that's incredible. They're my role models. This is the sort of
But you
thing.
just want it the other half.
Yeah, I want it the other half.
But then you get to your destination, your legs go to sleep, but your top half is awake.
Yeah, but then I can just sit down. So if I've got intelligent legs and they take me
just
to
clarify, what are they?
Intelligent legs.
Intelligent legs.
Right.
They've got their own brain.
Yes, in a way, they've evolved to be able to be more independent. So say
What if they get fed up with your top half because they're so intelligent?
Look,
like starfish when they split.
Yeah, I can't guarantee this is going to work.
Right. You can't guarantee it.
I'm not 100% this
You're not 100%
work.
sold on it.
No, but say I was going to my mother-in-law's and she's about 16
My
miles
nan.
from here, yeah. I could say my legs would take me there and I could sleep. And when I get there...
I assume walk, though, because it'd be pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Can they see cars coming?
Yeah, they'd be able to... It'd be a bit like having sensors on something to stop them. You know when you get those things...
Like when you reverse.
The vacuum cleaners that are robotic and they don't hit things because...
Right. Have you ever seen when they get notifications said, like, robot vacuum 1 is stuck on a cliff and you get there and it's like hanging on the edge of the carpet rug?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sort of thing, yeah.
So you just get a notification to your brain saying, we're stuck.
Obviously, it's not... I haven't done all the information. I haven't really gathered all the
because
information.
you can't because it's evolution.
Yeah, it's evolution. But then I'd get to
you're
my
not creating
mother-in-law's and my bottom half could go into saver mode and I could have a great fresh conversation and like be really revitalised by the rest I've had on the way down.
Oh. Maybe.
Also...
Okay, can I do one?
Yeah.
Maybe if we evolved in such a way where if like we regrew body parts. I know we do it to a certain extent anyway.
Like
with
a salamander.
Like a salamander. Like if our arm gets cut off, we grow a new arm. If there's a severe accident where we lose our fella grows back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. Bigger bladders.
Bigger bladders. That's what you're just listing things that you need
to hold more fluids. No. To counteract global warming, because it's going
Right.
to get hotter, we need to take on more fluids. And if we take on more fluids, we need to have the capacity to be able to absorb and contain those fluids within our
Okay,
bodies.
I see an issue with this. So we take on too many more fluids, then there's less fluid on the planet.
Yes. Okay, I didn't say all of these were like goers. I think.
I mean, we're not controlling it anyway.
No, we're not controlling it, but it's going to happen. If it happens, it happens.
Nipples that control volume.
Yeah,
Yep, they're actual dials.
that could control volume of what? Your own voice or other people's voices?
How you perceive sound.
Ooh, I like that. How you perceive sound
Yep.
through your nipples.
Yeah.
Okay. And would one be sort of? Are we talking?
One would be pitch, one would be volume.
Yeah. I was going to say that. Is it? Yeah. Okay. The other thing I got more fingers.
And a belly button is a switch. Okay, are all these fingers on your hands or in different places?
I've not really fleshed it out. I've just
Maybe
put
we
more
should-
fingers, and I think I was going to write more, and then I haven't. So just more fingers.
Maybe we should have a bunch on down our spine, like like you've got like a Spinosaurus.
Yeah.
Like each one's a finger.
That could give you a massage, so you
Yeah.
could massage your own back.
Yeah.
Again, keeping your body rejuvenated.
Or if you
and
have
fresh.
loads of them on your back, you could just lay down and your fingers could drag you places whilst you sleep.
Oh, yeah, like the
It's
sound of that as well.
Like intelligent legs, but for your back.
Oh, intelligent fingers. Love
Yeah.
it. Great. Sorted.
Right, all this talk of intelligent fingers and intelligent legs makes me want to hear to an intelligent song.
An intelligent song. Well, I've written a song for this particular
It's not
episode.
intelligent.
No, well, I would like to think it is a bit intelligent. It's actually about the fact that not everybody has evolved at the same rate as others. So we all know people that we feel may not have either missed a few steps or not quite made it to the step we are in evolution.
Yeah.
And this song is about that and is called You Look Like a Chimp.
We came down from the trees to be just like you and me. Although some of us evolved more than others, we soon began to walk and eventually to talk, distancing ourselves from our great ape brothers. You look quite like a chimp, maybe you're the missing link. Your monobrow is there for all to see. Your long and loping gait is difficult to fake. You're as hairy as a hairy thing can be. What to do when you look like a big baboon? When your ass is the size of the moon and resembles a weak old balloon. It's true, it's not great, but the fact is you're my best mate. Even though you're more like a primate, not the sort you could bring on a double date. Unless she's dying fussy. You love to climb trees, not to mention all the fleas. And you often ask me if I'd like to groom you. Each time that I decline, you just lose your monkey mind and chomp things at me, mostly your own poo. Your diet, to be frank, is incredibly rank, and your manners are appalling, I can't lie. But the thing I hate the most, so incredibly gross, is when you wave your willy at the passers-by. What to do when you look like a big baboon? When your ass is the size of the moon and resembles a weak old balloon. So true, it's not great, but the fact is you're my best mate. Even though you're more like a primate, not the sort you could bring on a double date, unless he's Charles Darwin. resembles a weak old balloon. It's true, it's not great, but the fact is you're my best mate. Even though you're more like a primate, not the sort you could bring on a double date, unless she's dying fussy. What to do when you look like a big baboon, when your ass is the size of the moon and resembles a weak old balloon? It's true, it's not right.
Game time.
Nice song.
Do you like it?
Yep, it was nice.
Yes.
I like the bits with the music and the lyrics.
Oh, that's good. That's what a song is. So that's great. Okay.
And
Moving on.
Like a big baboon.
Yes.
Just proving that I listened to it.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
You did listen to it. So,
I would like to please have some fun now and play a game if possible.
well, I'm going to test you out here because
Is there
to
a
whether
quiz?
it's fun or not. Yeah, there is a quiz. It's a true or
way.
false quiz.
True or false?
I like true or false
50,
quizzes.
50s.
Yes.
How many questions?
There are 12, which
12.
I only noticed today. The reason there was 12 last week was that there was 12 months in 2023.
No, you've said that. You thought that since.
No, I did it at the time.
But you didn't say it at the time.
No, I didn't say it at the time. But this, I just did 12. I think I was just enjoying myself. Do you want to play the sting and then I'll explain a little bit more?
Okay.
If there's no objections, here's some natural deselections. People whose choices contributed to their end. Are these really true, pal? You'll find out in a while now. So take that look of boredom off your face.
What a lovely sting.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was nice.
Good. Right. This quiz is all about natural selection.
Ah.
So I don't know if you're aware.
Not just human evolution then.
No. This is about...
You could just get questions just on human evolution. No.
No. So basically, are you aware of the Darwin Awards? So the Darwin Awards are sort of... It started off as a bit of a spoof thing, and then they give awards out for people who do things that really are ridiculously stupid.
Mm.
So sort of clearing our gene pool a bit of the stuff that we don't want in it. So stupendous decisions they made, which sort of sorted them out in the end and meant that they met a rather horrible death.
Oh.
So it's a bit of a comedy sort of
Yep, I can tell.
So what I'm going to do, right,
Yep.
I floundered a bit there, but there's 12 of these examples. I want you to tell me whether you think this is true, this actually happened, or if it's false.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. Number
So
one.
true or false, yeah?
True or false?
Do you want me to say anything other than true or false, or just stick with the...
No, you could do whatever you like, as long as I know which one
It's
you're
not like
saying.
real or fake or
Well,
astronaut
you
or
could
false
do-
or
No, it's nothing like that. So just true or false to do, I think.
Dar win or Dar lose?
Yeah, that'll do. Actually, that'll do. So Darwin, if it's true, Dar lose.
Lose.
Dar lose.
Are you going to pretend that you thought about it initially?
No. Number one. After the success of the film Jaws in the 70s, many low-budget shark films were made with varying degrees of quality. One of these ill-fated films ended in disaster when an actor, sensing his big break, suggested having a false leg attached to him made of chum, while his own legs were strapped together to look like one leg. He thought this would bring the sharks to him and they would even get a shot of his leg being eaten, like his false leg being eaten. The sharks did come and they did attack, but his other legs and torso resulting in massive blood loss and death.
Dar lose, that wasn't real.
No, it wasn't real. That was false. Oh, well done.
Thank you.
Can you see through these things? You're starting to get used to what I do in these true or falses. I've noticed.
Well,
that.
that one just felt. Yep.
Okay, what about this
False.
one? Number 2.
I might go back to true or false because it's easier.
Yeah. An Iraqi terrorist decided to send out a letter bomb in 2000, but not being the brightest of sparks, he forgot to put enough stamps on the letter, meaning it was sent back to the return of sender address. Being so happy to receive post and not recognising it as one he sent, he ripped it open, and as such, his career in terrorism and everything else was ended.
I don't think you'd come up with a terrorist one, so I'm going to say false. True, sorry.
Which one?
True.
Yeah, it is true.
Confused myself.
Number 3. In Wisconsin, which is what I was talking about earlier, because I couldn't believe I'd actually got something else but I've managed to say that all right, haven't I?
Yeah.
Okay. In Wisconsin, a group of college kids decided to create some mischief after spending some time drinking at a party. They all piled in a pickup truck and drove down the back roads, pulling stop signs out of the ground and stacking them in the back of the truck. Once they had gathered all the signs in the area, they headed back to the party, but at a crossroads got hit by another truck who would have stopped if the sign had been there. 6 of the 7 kids died and the driver was badly injured.
Oh, see, this is very dramatic. 6 to 7. I'm going to go true.
That is true. 3
Yeah.
out of 3. Blimey. Okay, number 4.
How about the other driver?
No, the driver, I think 6 out of the 7 kids
That's
died.
a terrible.
It's awful.
awful
absolute
thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm not
But it's
saying
their own
these
doing,
are funny,
isn't it?
but it's their own doing. I mean, the driver, I think, was badly injured. The other one, which it wasn't his fault, to be honest.
Did he get charged or anything? But I still bet he still felt terrible about it.
Probably. You're making this worse than... This was supposed to be a bit lighter-hearted.
All
You've
right.
gone down a different route. Number 4.
6 dead children, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Oh, God. Intelligent legs. Let's bring it back. Budding
Back
geologist... Budding geologist Stephen Cameron couldn't believe his luck when he discovered what he thought to be the fossil remains of a yet unclassified dinosaur. Not wanting to have anyone steal this rare find, he crept back down to the cliff face at night to chip away at it. The cliff collapsed and he was buried in the rubble and not discovered until a week later, with the journal in his pocket the only clue to what had happened and why. And the journal in his pocket, the only clue to what had happened and why. The supposed fossil turned out to be rubbish from a nearby landfill.
False.
That is false. Oh, this is annoying. You're getting good at this. Okay, question 5. 90s underground rapper T. He, who sported a jewelry collection to rival that of Mr. T. Do you know who Mr. T is?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Met his end at the bottom of a hotel swimming pool after going for a late night swim wearing his necklaces, bracelets and rings, which pulled him to the bottom where he eventually drowned.
False.
That is false.
Yeah.
Oh, man. 5 out of 5.
I wonder if I should give a bit of a gap so that other people can play as well, but
Oh, maybe.
they need to be quicker.
Question 6. A teenager in the state of Texas decided he would get his thrills by playing a game of Russian roulette with friends.
Do you want to try again?
All right, yeah, I will try that again. Question 6. A teenager in the state of Texas decided he would get his thrills by playing a game of Russian roulette with his friends. However, his weapon of choice was a semi-automatic pistol. He placed the bullet in the gun thinking it would give him a 1 in 6 chance of dying. However, a semi-automatic pistol instantly moves the bullet into the gun's chamber when loaded, so the odds were 1 in 1.
True.
Therefore, you all use playing at home. Yes, it is true. That's 6 out of 6. Unbelievable. And a snort from my nose.
Nice. Thanks.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I think we should stop there.
Question 7.
Okay.
because you've got 12 here. This makes it even worse. You've got to get these. A prolific inventor from Edinburgh called James Dodds felt that in order to raise his profile, he would build a rideable bicycle with the biggest wheels he could find. Representatives of the Guinness Book of Records were on hand for the first official run, and to give him the best possible chance of making the 200 metres needed, James positioned himself at the top of a steep incline. The run started well, and James was well on his way to achieving his goal, but he hadn't checked the new route thoroughly and decapitated himself on a low railway bridge before he could see the efforts immortalised.
Say the first 10 words for me.
A prolific inventor from Edinburgh called James Dodds felt that in order...
This one's a tricky one.
And I gave you 2 extra words there.
True.
That is false. Oh, no.
I'm done now.
Oh, dear. No, don't be like that. An amateur
I almost went false.
araneologist and superhero fan deliberately exposed his pet spiders to low levels of radiation with a view to emulating Peter Parker by getting bitten and gaining superpowers. He did receive numerous bites from the spiders, but instead of experiencing heightened senses and the ability to climb walls, he died of an allergic reaction to the bites.
True.
False. Oh no! Oh no, no, no! It's unravelling before your eyes. Right, keep going, come on. This is a good one. An Australian kung fu master told his class that he was very proud of them and that they were tough enough to take on lions. The encouragement was not supposed to be taken literally, but one of the students decided to put it to the test by visiting a local zoo and entering a lion's cage to prove his worth. He died.
True.
That is true. Back on track.
No, not really.
Oh, don't be like this. What's the point? If you're going to get 10 out of 10...
What is the point? No, it's 12 out of 12, isn't it?
Yeah. Number 10.
Do I win if it's 10 out of 12?
Yeah. A high-flying lawyer called Gary Hoy loved to show off to his buddies that the windows in his Toronto office were bulletproof and as such unbreakable. One day he decided to prove his theory by running into one at full speed. His clients watched on as Gary crashed through the window and ended up on the pavement 24 floors below.
True.
That is true. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, 2 more. While on an alpine skiing holiday, a group of avid thrill seekers decided skiing down the slopes was too tame, and after noticing a large metal sheet attached to some fencing, thought it would make a great sled big enough for all of them to sit on. They carried up the makeshift toboggan to the top of the run and proceeded to slide at speed down. It was only when they slid off the side of the mountain, through the gap in the fencing, that they realised that they had instigated their own death.
False.
That is true. Oh, it's not going to get 10. Come on, last one. Come, pick yourself up. He's currently got his head on his desk, crying.
Right, okay.
He needs those massaging fingers.
Thanks.
12. Although surviving the stunt, Larry Waters decided to emulate the film Up and attach 45 weather balloons to an armchair. After cutting himself loose, Larry expected to float about 30 foot off the ground, but he miscalculated and rose to an elevation of 10,000 feet. Lucky for Larry, he had brought along his air rifle. Why? And was able to start shooting the balloons until he finally landed and was promptly arrested.
True.
That's absolutely true.
I remember that one.
Yeah, I thought you might remember that one. And that is the end.
And the fact that he questioned it as well. He went, I don't know why.
Why he'd have the shot? Why he'd have the rifle?
Yeah, but the fact that you questioned...
I questioned the fact that...
If you wrote that yourself, you wouldn't have questioned it.
Oh, possibly, yeah, okay.
And that
is the end of my little natural selection quiz. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it, thank you.
That's quite all right.
And that also brings us to the end of the podcast as
Oh,
well.
it does indeed.
And why do you seem sad?
Because, yes, I am always sad at the end. Do you feel
You
that
cry?
we've really managed to get to the crux of the subject matter?
Absolutely not.
Okay, brilliant.
That's how it normally goes. So,
Excellent.
someone asked me the other day, what was your podcast about? And I went, don't know.
I really don't really know.
Don't know.
So what are we doing next week?
That's a great question. Isn't it Tundra?
It is. So we're going to do
Biomes,
one
tundra.
of our biomes. We've already done
Deserts.
and this next one is the tundra.
The tundra.
Which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. If you do want to listen to that podcast, you'll be able to listen to it next week. But if you want to listen to any other podcasts, you can get those on our website, fatherandsundays.com, or you can listen to it on your chosen podcast platform. But on fatherandsundays.com, you can also do other stuff on there. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, Threads, stuff like that. Follow, like, share those as well. Tell your mum about this podcast, and then hopefully she'll tell her friends. And also
Excellent.
tell your friends. And tell your enemies,
Yeah.
depending on whether
you
you like the
enjoy it or
podcast.
not,
If you
yeah.
like the podcast, tell your friends. If you don't like the podcast, tell your enemies.
Yep. Sounds
Yep.
good to me.
And leave a review on your chosen podcast platform.
No, that'll be helpful if people do, and we'll know where we're going wrong.
And also, I don't know what else to say.
Okay. It's a goodbye